Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, December 13th, 2018. I'm Keith Tebow. It looks like Fall River will have a special election to recall Mayor Jazel Correa. The contract of Diamond Superintendent will not be renewed next year, and a new agreement will make it easier for students at Bristol Community College to transfer to UMass Dartmouth. But first, let's talk about some of these issues that are on our plate. We bring in Will Richmond, the digital news editor at the Herald News. Will, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Keith. Good to see you again.
Yeah, same here. Let's start with actually a story that developed earlier this morning, still sort of developing as we record this show on Thursday afternoon. This morning, a gasoline tanker truck overturned on Route 24 North near the merge of Route 79. Spilling over 100 gallons of gasoline, collided with another vehicle. The driver of the truck, unfortunately, a 67-year-old male, died at the scene. The other driver, a 32-year-old male, was extricated from his vehicle and transported to Rhode Island Hospital. As of right now, Will, the road is still closed. Is that correct, and will be for some time?
Yeah, the northbound lanes remain closed, which was the side where the accident had occurred. The Mass DOT and State Police did announce at 1:30 that the southbound lanes had been open, so at least traffic is flowing on that side of the highway at this point.
Earlier this morning, Fall River Fire Department Chief Lynch held a press conference and mentioned that more than likely the cleanup will take some time, even though it looks like initially only about 100 gallons leaked. There was over 12,000 gallons, I believe, in the tanker. So they were in the process of pumping out the gas from the tanker to another tanker and controlling that cleanup. Do we know anything about the runoff of those 100 gallons and where it may have gone, and how contained is it?
Well, they were certainly taking protective measures. Fire department and Mass DOT crews were out there trying to spread sand and materials, foam that would soak up the gasoline. As well, they were covering storm drains to try to keep it from entering that system. So at this point, it's especially since no one can really get to that area with the exception of the emergency responders, it's kind of difficult to know just how widespread any leak may have been, with the exception of what people like Chief Lynch were telling us this morning.
Is there any deadline on a time frame in terms of when the northbound lane could reopen?
The indication was only that it was going to take hours, certainly. Yeah. With the need to pump out the remaining gas from the truck and then safely remove the truck as well from the scene. The expectation was that it was going to take some time and could even affect the evening rush hour time frame.
All right, so even if you're watching this right now, the highway could be reopened, but of course, please continue to follow local news reports to get the official update on when Route 24 in that area will be reopened to traffic. All right, yesterday, the Fall River Election Office presented the City Clerk's Office with over 4,000 certified signatures in the recall petition. That means a recall election is likely. Right now, it looks like, Will, the matter will go before the City Council at its Tuesday meeting, and they could set a date for a recall election, correct?
Yeah, at this point, we move on to that next phase now that we know the required number of signatures has been certified. So Council President Cliff Ponte has said it will be on the agenda. He's alerted the other council members as well as Mayor Jazel Correa that the matter of the recall certification will be on the agenda, and that the process that hereby given the mayor 5 days to resign will be starting at that point.
So the notification to the mayor that he has 5 days to resign or face the recall election, that will officially take place when it comes up before the council? How does that work, or does it happen now?
I believe it doesn't come up until the council accepts the certification of the signatures. So that would be when they accept that, that's what would then start the clock, assuming, of course, that they do accept the signatures. Most councilors have said, even if they're against the idea of the mayor resigning, that the process should be a recall. So you would hope that there'd be no objections or anything to that effect that would delay the process any further.
Now, the time frame calls for a recall election to take place, I believe, within 65 days of when the council takes up the matter. So that would look at about maybe early, mid-February at the latest?
Well, it says 65 days, but what we're hearing is potentially mid-March
Oh, okay.
for an election at this point. But still a lot of things to be sorted out, and certainly we run the risk of any court challenges to the process or anything that could maybe make this drag out any longer.
Something to follow up on, and I'll ask you now if you know the answer. What will happen, as we had 4 years ago when then Mayor Will Flanagan was recalled, was there's two parts to the ballot. The first question will be whether you would like to recall the mayor, and the second part would be, in effect, another election for a new mayor if the first question were to be approved. In terms of candidates who may be looking to potentially run for mayor, under the new charter that was approved last year, the number of signatures needed for a normal election increased to, I believe, 300 to run for mayor. Would those limits be in effect for this recall as well?
Yeah, I would imagine so. The same requirements are needed to be placed on the ballot. So that process wouldn't change simply because it's a recall election, to my knowledge. Having read through the recall portion of the charter a couple of times recently, I've seen nothing that would indicate those numbers change because it's a recall election. So that would seem to be the case stand-in for this election, assuming it takes place.
So no doubt next week at this time we'll have an update on how the City Council proceeds as it receives the certification of these signatures. Finally this week, Will, another big story that actually happened late last week. The school committee of Diamond Regional Vocational Technical High School voted 5-1 to not move forward and work on a negotiation to renew Superintendent Director Tom Aubin's contract, which means that in 2019 his contract will not be renewed. He is still in office. There's quite an outcry over this, a lot of support for the Superintendent Director. What did you hear? A lot of this was held in executive session, but what did you hear about the reasons why the school committee voted not to renew that contract?
Yeah, haven't been a lot of school committee members that have given a real reason, beyond some vague things such as, time for a new face and that kind of thing. One committee member, Joan Menard, did issue concern about Tom Aubin's ability to work with the school committee, saying that he would implement policy without the school committee's knowledge, and kind of just move forward. He was too hands-on for the superintendent's position. They thought, she thought he could have handled the position differently.
Yeah.
As well, an evaluation, written evaluation of the superintendent that's on file from one of the members also indicates similar concerns about communication with the school committee. And that really seems to be the only indication we've gotten to this point in terms of what the committee's concerns are.
Last night, over 100 people took part in a support of Superintendent Aubin outside of Government Center, and there's been petitions, online petitions and the like, to see if the superintendent can be reinstated as the superintendent next year. We also had the opportunity to speak with Superintendent Aubin earlier this week, and he has his reaction to this outpouring of support.
Well, I was overwhelmed by the outpouring of support from literally decades of students. This job is tough in that you sometimes leave wondering if you've actually reached people, and based on what I can see in terms of social media and the contacts that people have made with me directly, it's just, I can't even describe it. There are no words. Deeply grateful.
Do you plan to legally fight this?
I'm going to reserve comment. I'd rather focus on, honestly, the things that we're doing right now and the great things that are happening here. We just had an open house here about 2 weeks ago, and they say you can always measure the success of a school by the speed at which the students exit the building at the end of the day. And our open house happens on Sundays, and we had just a ton of students volunteering their time to participate in the open house. So, this is just a great place to be. And, you come in inspired every day when you come in. So, we have more great things that we're going to be doing as long as I'm here, hopefully.
As Superintendent Director Tom Aubin, what is the likelihood that this great outpouring of support would change some minds, Will? Do we know?
It's tough to say. I mean, the committee doesn't meet again until January, so we won't see anything in terms of an agenda or any sort of direction on their next steps, even if it means they head into a search until the new year at the very earliest. Certainly, Mayor Correa has expressed his sentiment that the committee should reconsider their vote and keep Tom Aubin in position. But that certainly puts the committee in a sticky position to have taken a vote, said that they are in a position to remove the superintendent, and then to sort of flip-flop on that and put him back in is that's a difficult prospect for any sort of board.
Yeah. All right, and we'll continue to follow it as well. All right, Will, what's coming up over the next few days?
Well, we're continuing to look into the issue of Tom Aubin and some of the reasons or the history of what the school has done since he's become superintendent. And, we'll have follow-ups on today's crash on Route 24, as well as anything that may come from the recall process.
All right, Will, sounds good. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thanks. You too, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this. It's Christmas time in Fall River, and the weekend of December 15th and 16th, you'll have your choice of special events to enjoy with friends and family. Here's Fall River Community Media's latest rundown of some of the local holiday happenings. The morning of December 15th, feast on pancakes, pose for pictures with Santa Claus, and decorate ornaments at the Fall River YMCA. The pancake breakfast starts at 9 a.m. across the street from the Y at the First Baptist Church and continues with the open house from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Y itself, located at 199 North Main Street. Tickets are $3 per person and $15 for families. For more information, call 508-675-7841, extension 12. You can also celebrate Christmas at Lafayette Durfee House with the Fall River Public Library at 11 a.m. on December 15th. Hear David Mello read The Night Before Christmas and The Polar Express, decorate an ornament, and take a guided tour of the historic house with volunteers in colonial dress. Admission is free. Also on December 15th, Creative Arts Network hosts the 4th Annual Festival of Trees from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Government Center. The festive event features a large display of themed trees, live music, food samples, a candy store, a holiday market with free gift wrapping, activities for children, a visit from Santa Claus, and much more. For a detailed schedule, go to Can Fall River's Facebook page, facebook.com/Can Fall River. Following the Tree Festival, Can is hosting a gala concert from 7 to 9 p.m. at First Congregational Church, located at 282 Rock Street. Attendees are invited to hear local musicians perform and to join them in singing Christmas carols and the Hallelujah Chorus. Refreshments will be served and admission is free. Spindle City Ballet presents its annual holiday production of The Nutcracker at 2 p.m. on December 15th and December 16th. The show will feature 30 local children, and for the first time, it will include an interactive component. Performances will take place at Bristol Community College's Jackson Arts Center. Tickets are $25 for adults and seniors and $10 for children 12 and under. Call 508-536-6073. Visitors at the Children's Museum of Greater Fall River can make their own gingerbread houses on December 15th. The cost is $2. The following day, the museum will host a special train exhibit and a reading of the Polar Express, along with hot chocolate and holiday crafts. Admission to the museum is $8. South Coast Community Chorale performs its winter holiday concert at 3 p.m. on December 16th at Good Shepherd Parish, located at 1598 South Main Street. The concert will include works by Haydn and Mozart, the Hallelujah Chorus, and other holiday favorites. Admission is $18 for adults at the door and $15 in advance. Seniors and students receive a discount of $3. For tickets, visit Eventbrite. Welcome back. Many students who graduate from Bristol Community College often choose to continue their education at UMass Dartmouth. This week, both institutions announced the Bristol Plus UMD program, an initiative that gives Bristol students a seamless pathway to enter UMass.
Well, one of the things that I've learned in my time here at Bristol Community College is that many of our parents really don't know how to guide their children. They are fearful of accumulating student debt, and they really don't know how much it's going to cost in the long term. So this wonderful Plus program provides a clear pathway to students and helps them and their parents understand what the costs are and helps them see how incredibly affordable this Plus program is for students. So when you start at Bristol, and you go full-time or part-time, you have a natural progression and transfer seamlessly right to UMass Dartmouth. And you can begin onboarding on that UMass Dartmouth experience even before you graduate from Bristol Community College. If you're a full-time student and you decide to go days, not only do you have the opportunity to seamlessly transfer, but I just love the idea that UMass Dartmouth is giving a merit scholarship to students who take this pathway as well. So it provides even a greater financial benefit in addition to a very high quality education.
After graduating from Bristol, students in the program will automatically be admitted into UMass Dartmouth as juniors and will have their application fees waived and receive priority registration. Thus far, December has been a dry month here in Fall River, but we couldn't say that about November, as a series of rainstorms and one snowstorm raised water levels in the Watuppa Pond. City Administrator of Public Utilities Terry Sullivan says managing the pond's water level is at times a challenge.
That resulted in a couple of things. One, the South Watuppa Pond got higher than desired, which results in concerns and complaints from the people that live along the pond, both in Fall River, Westport, and Tiverton. And secondly, throughout the city, the groundwater levels are extremely high, so you may see couple of hundred places in the city, especially at the bottom of the hill, where groundwater is actually breaking out of the ground. It looks like a small leak. In most cases, that's the groundwater breaking out of the ground. Causes some problems, causes some icing and concern for people. The flow is so high, there's a lot of vegetation coming from the river and the South Watuppa Pond. So these long rakes behind me, the staff comes out to remove that vegetation to keep the flow moving. So as we stand here right now, the level of the South Watuppa Pond is just about minus 21 inches below full pond. The desired level is between minus 18 and minus 24, so we're right in that range now. But in mid-November, when all of that rain occurred, we got as high as minus 11 inches, which is a rise and raised concern to the public. That's actually still even good. In the floods of 2010, we got to plus 36 inches above full pond. So minus 11 is not the happy space, but it's still low enough to control. So we've been maximizing the flow for the last month, preparing for more rains, which we're going to get some on Saturday. So by Saturday, we should be about minus 23 inches below full pond. So we should be able to manage an inch or two of rain coming in. Keeping in mind that 1 inch of rain adds 3 inches to the pond. That's because of all the stream runoff and all the water coming from the houses and the woods, that whole watershed coming into the pond. So we're in good shape right now, but the month of November was very difficult because of so much rain resulted in so much water going to the pond.
So what's the major complaint of the public?
To be honest, we get yelled at from two different groups of people. So when the pond gets high, those living next to the pond are unhappy, they call and complain, and we're happy to take those complaints. But if we take the pond down too low, especially approaching the summer, the boaters start to yell at us because the pond's too low and the props of their boats might hit the rocks. And each group say, the other group doesn't matter, but we try to make everybody happy, which is a challenge in and of itself.
Despite the cold weather, progress continues on the demolition and revitalization of the King Philip Mill Complex in the city's south end. Here's an update from State Representative Alan Sylvia.
King Philip Mell is moving forward. I have been in communication with Mr. Kafari, who's the developer, and you drive by, you see that most of that Crown Linen building is down. Will be completed very shortly. Of course, the winter months are going to hold things up a bit, but things are proceeding, so we're happy about that. More good news in the future, hopefully, how that property develops and opens that up for residential use. No time frame. Of course, the developer wants it done as soon as he possibly can. He's right now it's a serious cost factor with the work that's being done, but hopefully come next summer, most of that property will be demolished.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Today on Hot Dogs and Cool Cats, we have Moxie. On paper, she's a Fila Brasileiro, which is pretty much a Brazilian Mastiff. She looks like a little bear with her little nubby tail and circular ears. She is 70 pounds of pure love and affection. She definitely has the opposite of a Napoleon complex. She thinks she's a lot smaller than she is. She works very well on leash. She is 7 years old. Super sweet. She's good with other dogs. She can be good with kids, but we would prefer older kids just for her sake, only because she can be a little nervous. If you'd like to meet Moxie, this super sweet girl, come on down to Forever Paws.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Bonita. Bonita here. She's a domestic long hair. She's just over 2 years old. 2 years and 1 month to be, 2 months to be exact. She's a very sweet cat. She just came back to the shelter. She was in with one of our fosters for a little while. She actually just had some kittens. So she's still a little bit in recovery mode, but not so much that she can't get visitors and go on home. She's a very sweet cat. A lot of kitty cat mothers, depending on their disposition, they can either get sweeter or meaner. She definitely took the sweeter route. Right now she's a little bit confused because she's never been in this room. She's getting used to the shelter again, so you can notice she's a little bit aloof. But she's normally a very sweet cat. A cat that you could definitely take on your lap and pet for a while. One of those cats that would come up and meet you nose to nose, that sort of thing. So if you'd like to see Bonita, you can come on down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Banking Center Manager. Webster Bank, located at 1450 Plymouth Avenue, is in need of a full-time banking center manager to oversee daily bank operations, customer service, and employee development. Job number 114-96284. Clinician. Bay Cove Human Services is looking for a full-time clinician to work as part of a team to assess and coordinate stabilization services for adults and children who are experiencing a psychiatric emergency. Job number 114-98660. Technician. Empire Hyundai, located at 428 Pleasant Street, is looking for a full-time technician capable of diagnosing and repairing most systems of the automobile. Job number 114-87600. Family Dollar, located at 870 North Main Street, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Store Manager, job number 114-93646. Customer Service Representative, job number 114-93842. Blount Fine Foods, located at 630 Current Road, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Automation Technician, job number 114-98719. Data Entry Clerk, job number 114-98730. For more information on these or other positions, visit masshiredjobquest.detma.org or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
We're less than 2 weeks away from Christmas, and Citizens for Citizens in Fall River is getting ready to once again distribute toys to needy families in our community.
Every child will get a major gift, which is something Santa Claus would bring. Then they get hats and mittens. They receive stocking stuffers, which are, some of them are stocking stuffers, but other of them are nice gifts, just not something Santa would bring. And every family gets a family game to promote family time.
How many clients do you serve?
Over 4,000 children every year. I think that number might be a little higher this year. I've seen a severe influx in clientele. Everybody's just having some really hard times. Toy distribution is on December 15th. We are here on Griffin Street from 9 to 5. We welcome anybody to come and volunteer, see what we do for the day, and we welcome any donations.
About the donations, how can people donate?
You can donate whether you want to donate cash, which is always welcome, or any type of toys. We don't say no to anything, and we can use whatever we are given.
Do you want them wrapped or unwrapped?
Unwrapped. We do not wrap the toys, just in case that a parent feels there's something that might be inappropriate for their child. We like to make sure they can see them.
Is there a specific age group?
We service newborn to 12 years old, boy and girl.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. and follow our news online at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.